Welcome to this video recording on attribution modeling, where I explain what it is. It is indeed a buzz frame in marketing and really became a very fashionable phrase to use. So this is a part of measuring marketing performance larger chapter. I will use an analogy today, an example of marriage, to help explain attribution modeling. Hope you are going to enjoy it. So what is attribution? Attribution is the process by which we assign a value to individual actions that lead to a certain outcome. The marketing interactions and conversations collected by a platform allow advertisers to evaluate the customer journey and determine how media will be valued. Okay, so now that we know what attribution is, what is attribution modeling? A marketing attribution model is a system of quantifying the value created in each step of the customer journey. So when a prospective customer makes a purchase, an attribution model is used to assign credit for that sale to one or more of the marketing touch points where the customer interacted. Attribution models help marketing teams understand the steps that customers take in the purchasing process and the touch points that prospects interact with as they move through the marketing funnel. By studying how touch points in the marketing funnel correlate with customer behaviors, organizations can engage in strategic thinking and decision making to improve targeting, identify the most profitable and high impact marketing channels, and of course optimize the marketing return on investment, and finally prove return on investment. So as you can see in this diagram, these are the customers in the middle, and we are being affected or touched by just about every different channel. And then there is some sort of result. We may purchase in store, online, do nothing, purchase through mobile, call center, and so forth. So we want to understand what channel contributed how much to our decisions. Let's now talk about the different types of attribution models. In general, there are three categories: single-touch attribution models, multi-touch attribution models, and data-driven attribution models. Single-touch attribution models would look at a single marketing touch point to give all the credit for a conversion. These models are easy to understand and fairly easy to implement. However, there is a downside in that there is a high risk of inaccuracy because you ignore all the other touch points. Yes, in some situations, though, a single touch approach can be very useful, a good point to start with, but in other situations, it may be limited. So now let's discuss the three different types of single touch attribution models. The first one is called first touch or first interaction, and as the name suggests, it gives all the credit for a conversion to the first marketing message that a prospect has encountered. It can be very useful if you're trying to generate awareness, demand generation, and so forth, because it shows you what's bringing new people into your company. The other model is called last touch or last interaction model, and as the name suggests, it uses the last marketing touch point before conversion to give all the credit for conversion. So if you need to know what is causing people to convert into customers, then a last touch model can be very helpful. It's also handy for products with a very short sales cycle where the buyer only has a few touch points. And the other single touch attribution model is called last non-direct click. Well, it's very similar to last touch attribution. It's almost the same, but one key difference. Credit is actually assigned to the last touch point or channel, not counting times when a website visitor, for example, typed your URL into the browser or used bookmark to visit your site. In other words, last non-direct click helps keep the focus on the touch points or channels that led visitors to your site, for example, maybe word of mouth. Now, multi-touch attribution models is a different category. So instead of giving a full credit to a single message or channel, multi-touch attribution, as the name suggests, recognizes that it takes more than one channel or interaction to generate a conversion. So the credit will be split among multiple touch points in the buyer's journey. This is a more sophisticated method than single touch attribution, and it's kind of like still relatively simple to implement if you kind of understand clearly the rules. So there are different types of the models. Linear attribution. It would give each touch point in a conversion path equal credit for that conversion. First, last, and all the touches in between will get equal conversion. Well, all contributed, so let's just share equally. Linear attribution kind of fixes a shortcoming in single touch attribution, but there are two caveats. One, linear attribution assumes all touch points are equal, but is that the case in practice? What if one specific touch point, for example, attending a conference, was the tipping point? So shouldn't we give more credit? And two, if the data from every touch point isn't included, a linear model might overlook valuable engagements with offline media, for example, direct mail or TV. Another one is called U-shaped attribution. Again, as the name suggests, awards most of the credit for conversion to the first and last touch points. The other one is called W-shaped attribution, and like the name suggests, it's similar to U-shaped attribution, except there are three main touch points. The first, the middle, somewhere in the middle, when kind of the contact develops into a lead or qualified lead, and the late stage touch, where that lead grows into an opportunity. And the final model among multi-touch attribution models is called time decay attribution. It works on the principle that more recent touch points were more influential and more valuable than ones earlier in the customer's journey. So those late stage touches receive more credit for the conversion. You can actually have custom attribution model is when you create your own rules or modify an existing model. Maybe you know from your past experience, or maybe you just have that gut feeling that particular campaign or channel is more valuable in converting your customers, so you can assign different weight to that. Now, the third category of attribution models is called data-driven attribution. In fact, both single-touch attribution models and multi-touch attribution models are rule-based models. You select particular rules, how the models will operate. Whereas data-driven attribution is something completely different. It looks at the entire customer journey to see which touch points are more likely to lead to a conversion and determine how much credit they should receive. Unlike other multi-touch models, it avoids giving credit to non-converting touch points that aren't contributing to conversation. Data-driven attribution uses marketing analytics and complex algorithms to produce customized attribution model that best aligns with your unique buying process. This kind of model will help organizations to determine which of the marketing efforts and touch points have the greatest impact on purchase behaviors and how individual touch points contribute to conversions and how to optimize marketing spend. So it will tell you exactly which steps have contributed and how they contributed. Data-driven attribution is clearly the most developed and complex type of attribution model. And the benefit is that you will get most accurate picture of how your marketing touchpoints are contributing to the revenue. However, it's the most difficult to use as well. And embedded inside can be quite complex statistical methods such as regression analysis, different types of regression analysis, stochastic programming, and so forth. But, using all those kind of methods really is outside of marketers' comfort level, because you need to be data analyst, to mathematician, statistician, to really understand how it works. And as you can imagine, not many marketers would possess those skills. Now let me explain attribution through the marriage example. Okay, so here you can see the conversion journey to marriage. Step 1 usually starts with a swipe on a dating app. Don't we just love using online dating apps today? Step 2 might be going on a coffee date or some kind of other date. And step 3 is a movie date. Step 4 is the proposal. Yeah, it's pretty quick in this particular model, but sometimes that's what happens in real life. And finally, here you go, the conversion, which is the marriage. So this is the path our user has taken, but which step you think should get credit for the conversion? The dating app, the coffee date, the movie date, the proposal itself? Well, try asking someone who developed an app, for example, Tinder app, right? They'll probably be quick to say it's the first such attribution. The app is what drove his conversion. If that swipe hadn't happened, these two people never would have met, dated, or gotten married. Well, and they are right in saying that. Now, if you ask the person who did the proposing, they might say it's a last such attribution. They bought the ring, they popped the question, the partner said yes, so that deserves all the credit. Without a proposal, that's probably safe to assume they never would have gotten married. But if you ask a data scientist, they would say that all of these different steps deserve some sort of credit for this conversion, don't they? If any of them have been missed or skipped, the marriage simply wouldn't have happened. Now, if you look at the future a little bit, or steps toward better attribution, for quite a while, the last touch attribution model was all we had to go with. We simply didn't have a way of seeing how each touch contributed to the ultimate conversion. But a number of tools and capabilities now exist to give us a more holistic view, or what's known as data-driven attribution model. Now, if you think about the models we've just discussed, such as first touch, last touch, linear, position-based, time decay, and some other models, they are all rule-based attribution models. They are about aligning philosophically within an organization and deciding that this model is the lens you want to apply for the conversion journey. But data-driven attribution is a wholly different way of looking at it. It's powered by machine learning, and it takes all the guesswork and out of the equation and looks at the conversions objectively based on what is happening. Going back to an example of the couple's conversion and the journey into marriage, it will take into account every marriage on record and find patterns. In cases where the couple didn't go to the movies, were there fewer weddings in the end or not? If so, then that movie date in the middle starts to get a bit more credit for the conversion. Hope this is useful.